तो आज मैं बताने वाली थी आपसे उस तत्व के बारे में जो अक्षर है, जिसको सच्चित आनंद के नाम से लोग जानते हैं। वो तत्व जो हमारे हृदय में एक दीप जैसे प्रस्फुटित है, जो हर समय स्फुरित रहता है, जो हमारे हरेक काम काज, हमारा हरेक चढ़ना उतरना, हमारी हरेक लालसा, हमारी वासनाएं और हमारे प्रयत्न, हमारी इच्छाएं, हर चीज का साक्षी, उसका वास हमारे हृदय में रहता है। वो तत्व कुंडलिनी के साथ ही साथ हमारे हृदय में प्रवेश करता है। जैसे ही कुंडलिनी हमारे, जैसे मैंने आपसे बताया था कि त्रिकोणाकार सर के जो शिखर है वहां से अंदर आ जाती है और आकर के 3.5 कुंडलों में अपने त्रिकोणाकार अस्थि में प्रतिष्ठित हो जाती है। सबको समझ में आ रहा है कि अंग्रेजी या हिंदी या ऐसा कुछ मतलब है? कुछ चित्त जरा विचलित है। एवरीबडी कैन अंडरस्टैंड हिंदी? कि बड़ी कठिन मैं बोल रही हूँ हिंदी? जरा जरूरत से ज्यादा है क्या? ठीक है, सबके समझ में आ रही? हाँ, कांट फॉलो? हाँ, so that will be too much. If I say in English, will you all follow? Yes. हिंदी सीखना चाहिए बेटे, जरूरी है। इसलिए एक बात तुमसे बताऊं, अंग्रेजी के विरोध में मैं नहीं हूँ, तो इंटरनेशनल वगैरह अच्छा ठीक, लेकिन आत्मा की भाषा तो संस्कृत है बेटा, इसमें कोई शंका। आत्मा के ऊपर इन लोगों ने ध्यान कब दिया? कभी नहीं। They have never bothered about the spirit. You see, so we have to use some common language which speaks about Atma. English language is not sufficient enough, I must tell you. They do not have those experiences because, you see, so far they have not gone deep into it. And we are very old people, ancient people. Our culture has been to know God, and everything has come in Sanskrit because Sanskrit is really a Devavani. Apart from that, when the Kundalini moves, she makes sounds. She makes different sounds, they are really Devanagari sounds. All of them are. On all different chakras they are. If I have time, I will tell you all those sounds that it makes. So our Sanskrit is really a Devavani, and even when you say mantras, then through the Sanskrit language or Devanagari pronunciations only, you can excite them better. So, we were talking about Sat Chit Anand. Again, I have to use Sanskrit words. See now, what can I do? Sat Chit Anand is the super consciousness, the all-pervading power. Chit is attention, the consciousness. Conscious. You are just now conscious, listening to me. Every moment you are conscious. But every moment is becoming dead into the past. Every moment coming from the future to the present. But you are conscious at this moment, listening to it. A thought rises like this and falls. You can see the rising of the thought, but not the falling of the thought. In between the thoughts, there is a space, which in Sanskrit we call it as vilamba. Of course, in English language there isn't because they haven't found it out. So there is a vilamba. And in that vilamba, if you can stop, then you get to the conscious mind, and there exists the Satchit Anand. Satchit Anand is the condition of mind, you can say, or is the state of mind where there is no thought but you are aware. First, there is no thought, nirvichar, but you are aware. That is the first state where you jump into the superconscious. So some people may think that by realization you must achieve something as Adi Shankaracharya had. It's not possible. With some it may be, with very few, but not with everyone. First state is nirvichar. You become thoughtlessly aware. That's just the first state. That happens when the Kundalini rises above the Agya Chakra, means enters into the limbic area. At that time, your attention just touches the Sat point. The Sat. The reality separates from Mithya. You are separate. You become two personalities. At that state, you start separating. Like in the milk, when you put yogurt, or you can say if you put lime, it starts separating into water and the curd. In the same way, the beginning starts. The beginning. This is the state where you can say the Kundalini has been awakened only. We must understand the different stage as it happens. I am giving you a very slow picture. But normally the Kundalini shoots off in most of the people. But in some people it does not. It takes time. It is lost in the Swadhisthana. It is lost into the Nabi. It doesn't go much higher. It is arrested by Hridaya Chakra, or maybe it may not even rise at all. But in case it crosses this door of Agya Chakra, then you get into the state of thoughtless aware. With thoughtless awareness, as like whatever state you get, supposing you become a governor, so you get a certain power. With that, you get certain powers. But at this state, to leave the Kundalini is not a good thing. Because the Kundalini can at that stage start moving this side and that side, can possibly, so can go to the supraconscious or can go to the subconscious, collective subconscious. The siddhis people get mostly at this stage. Some of the, not the Shudra siddhis, but the higher siddhis, like you see, they can predict. They can say this is going to happen if the Kundalini has moved to the supraconscious. If the Kundalini has moved to the collective subconscious, then they can start seeing things. You see, a person who is like that, he comes to me, he can see who I was in my previous lives. I do not have to convince them. This is the same thing as anybody who is possessed gets. A person who takes drugs, supposing he is a real alcoholic of the last word, and is a good soul, he is still seeking God. Such a person can see me in a different form. He can see my past. He can be very much enamored by me. He would know that I was, because you see, people think the past is greater than the present always. Because the past has been much greater than today's, though I have never given realization to anyone previously. But It was a great past, because human beings are like that. So he gets enamored when he sees things like that. This happens with people who are on the supraconscious level if they move out. If they move out, I'm sorry, this happens to people if they move out onto the left hand side, that is into the past. So at that stage, I would not like to leave your Kundalini, because you can cure people. Curative can be done with your Kundalini, is even in the limbic area. I am very anxious always that it should come out of the Brahmarandra. At that stage, you start getting the vibration. But at this stage, you are just a chitta only, and you just touch Sat point. Your attention is only charmed by the spirit. Only the attention part. Spirit, as I told you, is like a flicker of light in a gas lamp. And Kundalini is like a gas which touches the spirit, and the light of the spirit spreads in the central nervous system. But only the chitta part, the outer core is the chitta, means the attention part. At that stage, when the Kundalini opens the Brahmarandra, at that time what you feel is the vibrations from your hand, and you can feel the another person also, because you become collectively conscious. Collectively conscious only. Again, out of the Sat Chit Ananda, you just touch the Chitta person. So you start feeling the Chitta of your Chitta becoming the Chitta of the collective consciousness. Means you drop into the ocean of Sat Chit Ananda, in which you only feel the collective consciousness. That means you can feel another person's Kundalini. So you just feel the Chitta, not the Ananda part. First stage is only Chitta, that you feel the Kundalini of another person. You can raise the Kundalini of another person. You can give realization also after a little while to another person. Of course, my photograph has to be used, but still you can. But the Ananda stage is not yet touch. So in the beginning, you just feel the cold breeze in the hand. You feel the peace, tranquility also. There's no thought. You feel the thoughtless awareness. But the Ananda part is not felt at the first outset. Because now I have studied thousands of human beings and I have seen their problems, and this is a fact. So the first stage when you come, it is the Chitta stage, the consciousness stage. You touch the Sat, means you start seeing the reality, is one thing that you are flowing. There's something flowing. Then you start saying it's going, it's coming. Just now you said it's coming. You didn't say I am receiving, I am giving. That I goes out of your language. But still the ego and superego are not completely gone down. They are still there, but your attention has come up and you feel the Chitta. With this collective consciousness, you can cure people. You can give them realization, as I told. And also, you can feel the Kundalini of any person in the whole world. And also you can cure the Kundalini of that person. I mean cure the, not the Kundalini, but I am saying the cure the chakras or improve the chakras of the other person. Sitting down here, you can do. You can tell about the condition of the Kundalini of another person sitting down here, if you take interest. Wherever your attention goes, it works. Chitta. So your attention becomes universal. Your drop of your attention becomes one with the ocean of Sat Chit Ananda, Out of that, the attention part only. Listen to me for this very carefully, because many people at this stage drop out. Only the attention becomes effective wherever they put attention. Sitting down here, now I'll tell you about a disciple of mine who has come from England. One day he was sitting and he was thinking of his father. Suddenly he got a burning on his finger, this finger. So he rang up his father. He said, "How are you keeping?" So the mother said that he's very sick, he has got throat trouble. This boy did something to his finger and all that, the father got all right. He can do it. Now, he might think he is very powerful. He does not. He does not. He cannot think that. He cannot think. You see, because the hole has been made there. So he just says, "Mother, I felt it and I did like this," and he was all right. He never says that I cured. I goes out. In the language, in the words that you don't say I did it. You said it came, it went, it did. It's not coming up. So the three things, how you enjoy nirvichar samadhi, as they call samadhi, doesn't mean going into unconscious. But the unconscious become conscious. Whatever is not yet conscious becomes conscious. The unconscious, the universal unconscious, become conscious. So this is the first stage when it takes. There are many things like this and variety of things. Then the second stage where you become nirvikalpa, where there is no vikalpa. Just now in Delhi there are very few who are like that. Very few. Because first of all by temperament they are vikalpis. The reason is here is a complete atmosphere of vikalpa. If you say something, another will pull you down by saying something else. So the thing is, the whole atmosphere is so vikalpi that you are not yet settled about it, about the Sahaja. Still in vikalpa. But we have some very great Sahajogis also in Delhi, very great. So the vikalpa is there. Now you will say, how do you become nirvikalpa? Supposing you are in the water, you are afraid of getting drowned. You are picked up and put in the boat. So you are not afraid of becoming drowned. But when are you settled? When you are settled. I mean, it is such a state that when are you settled in a boat? When you are settled in a boat. I mean, that's how I can answer it. You have to be settled. But with that you get certain powers. Your Kundalini starts showing. You see, we have in Bombay some people whose Kundalini is at least 1 foot higher. 1 foot high. You can see. I mean, you cannot, may not, but so many people can see that. And they are a very deep people. Very deep. At the nirvikalpa state, the collective consciousness becomes very subtler. At that stage, you can understand very deep significances of things. And the reality starts becoming clearer. For example, you start understanding the working of the Kundalini. You start understanding how it penetrates. You start understanding how it works out. You can use it for experimentation with your own hand. You can move it as you like it. You can cure people and you can show the Kundalini is working in different ways. You can combine and permutations and combinations of Kundalini you can do. You can say that in the first year of music, you just learned the 7 notes and 2 other notes, just that. And ordinary ragas. But when you grow subtler and higher, then you know all the minute points, how to create. So at the nirvikalpa, you need not put your hand towards a person, nothing, sitting down, you know where it is. What is happening? Who is catching? What is the problem? What is the collective problem? Then you have no doubts about Sahajog, nor about Kundalini, nor about anything, no doubts at all. But at that time you start experimenting with it. You start using it. Mastery starts. At this stage, the chitta, the consciousness becomes subtle. Now somebody was sitting with me. Outside they knew that this gentleman is going to get realization. They knew that mother was giving realization to someone. Such people are very satisfied people. They do not grudge and grumble about small things. They do not enter into small things at all. They are not bothered. They live in a big way. They are not touched. Their attention is in the gross. They have no time for outside gross things. So their attention is very deep into the subtle forms. They are not bothered. Such people are satisfied souls. Such people are the ones who are going to create a pillar for Sahaja Yoga. Because when somebody sees such a person, a transformed person like that, shocked, says, look at this man. He's such a great person. And he was such a horrid man, and how has he become like this? How is he transformed? At this stage, at the Nirvikalpa stage, the vibrations emit. Then you can sit with me here. You start. Then there is no questioning at all. And such a man can get into a terrible temper if he sees somebody misbehaving with me. Can't bear misbehavior with me. Christ said, forgive all those because they do not know what they are doing. But supposing they had done anything against his mother, he would not have forgiven even this much, I can tell you, even this much. And in the Bible it is written that nothing will be tolerated against the Holy Ghost, and Holy Ghost is his own mother, is the Adi Shakti.